Hey, this is JR with Waza Media. Today has been a big day for Twitter as they have changed new bosses. They've changed their boss. Jack Dorsey, CEO, has stepped down and a new CEO has been put in place. So we're going to dive into this right now. If you haven't seen it already on Twitter, this is his farewell email that he sent internally that is now that has been screen captured and sent as a tweet from his account. Before we dive into this, I want to talk about how leadership is important for how these social media platforms work and how they are expected to run in the future. We've seen some dramatic changes with some other platforms, such as Facebook changing their parent company to Meta. We saw that with Google changing it to Alphabet years ago. There's a different mindset when it comes to rebranding, but also with who's in charge. And sometimes who is in charge can pave the way for what the future may entail for the company, and then for us as end users, what does that mean for how the platform will serve its function when we're trying to use it to when we're trying to leverage it to reach our audiences. And so, with that in mind, we're going to see how this letter may affect the future of Twitter and just overall the dynamics of social media when it comes to who's in charge. So looking at Jack Dorsey's letter, the big things I want to talk about is leadership. So I'm going to zoom in on this part here. There's a lot of talk about the importance of company being founder led. Ultimately, I believe that's ultimately limiting and the single point of failure. I've worked hard to ensure this company can break away from its founding and founders. There are three reasons right now I believe now is the right time. So going back to leadership, when a company cannot push itself to the limit, past its self-induced limit or its own barrier, sometimes it is needed to bring in someone new who can take the company to the next level. And right now, what's going on in digital space is Web 3.0 and going into crypto and blockchain. A lot of these things are starting to come more out. And I'm not an expert on crypto in that verse or anything of that sort. I'm still learning on how it's all going to take place. But what I am observing is that there's a huge trend over time where more companies are starting to be embracing some of these things. And with the new CEO, I believe his name is Parag, is his first name. His last name is Agrawal. Um, Sorry for butchering that if I did. Um, so according to an NBC article that I've picked up, that Parag, the new CEO, who was the chief technology officer for Twitter, and I'll read this part from a CSNBC article. Agrawal was previously tasked with finding a leader for Project Blue Sky, a research project Twitter launched to establish open and decentralized standards for social media platforms. And in another article, it talked about his background into the crypto space and the crypto teams. And even on his Twitter, that I'll load up on screen, is that Twitter is building out a crypto team. And so crypto is becoming more popular, and the social media platforms are now starting to catch up on it. And so this is the next phase for Twitter. This is where the new CEO is going to take Twitter into the crypto space. As and Jack Dorsey, I don't think he has the vision that Parag has into taking Twitter into the next level where Web 3.0 is. And so we've seen all the features that Twitter has had over the years, even starting from its SMS service, and that's how it started out. It started as a pet project that Jack Dorsey was working on in order to send short text messages out, and is evolved into this large platform where we are now able to send videos, we can send photos, we can send GIFs. There's now a downvote button for responses, which is another form of audience engagement. And then there's also Twitter Spaces, as Twitter is trying to get into the audio scene, is that is a very competitive market right now. And so Twitter is has a lot of features, and now they're trying to get into the crypto space and Web 3.0. And looks like Twitter's looking for Parag to take this company to the next level. I remember using Twitter. I got my account in 2010, and I didn't really use it until a couple years later. I think 2014 or 15. I started diving into using Twitter more on a personal and also for work related items. And so I feel that I'm late into the Twitterverse. And so now having to play catch up for the next couple of years, I'm now more familiar with the platform and getting myself up and running with understanding and how it works and how audience engagement is done on this platform. It's different from any other platform, and when you're creating content for any platform, you have to make it contextual to that platform. Everyone behaves differently for each platform, and it's not a one size fits all as far as content. Only time will tell on how Twitter will be able to make it in the next level of Web 3.0. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for more developments.